The year is 732 AD. Europe stands on the brink. From the scorching deserts of Arabia, a new force has emerged. They are the armies of Islam, and their conquests have been swift and merciless. In a matter of decades, they have toppled empires and spread their faith across vast swathes of land. North Africa has fallen. Spain is now a Muslim province. Now they have set their sights on the heart of Europe. Yet, in the fields of France, destiny awaited. A clash of civilizations, a battle for the soul of a continent. This was the Battle of Tours. Here, two worlds would collide in a maelstrom of steel and faith. Would the light of Western civilization be extinguished, or would a champion rise from the ashes? In the east, the mighty Umayyad Caliphate stood poised to strike at the heart of a divided Europe. Led by the audacious Emir Abdul Rahman Al-Ghafiqi, their armies were renowned for their speed, discipline and ferocity. They were the hammer, poised to shatter the old world. Standing against them, a force arose from the west, the Franks, under the leadership of Charles Martel, the hammer, a man of unwavering resolve and military genius. The clash between these two titans was inevitable, a confrontation preordained by history. The stage was set for a battle that would echo through the ages. Out of the vast and unforgiving Arabian desert, a new and formidable power had risen. One that would change the course of history. Driven by the divine revelations and teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, the Umayyad Caliphate carved out a vast and influential empire across the known world, spreading their influence far and wide. From the scorching sands of Persia to the sun-drenched shores of North Africa, their disciplined armies marched relentlessly, their banners proudly proclaiming the unifying message of Islam. The ancient and once mighty empires of Persia and Byzantium crumbled before the might and determination of the Umayyad warriors, unable to withstand their onslaught. Within a mere century of the Prophet's death, the Caliphate had expanded its reach to the very doorstep of Europe, spreading the message of Islam with every conquest. Damascus, the heart of the Umayyad Caliphate, flourished and rivaled the splendor and grandeur of Constantinople, becoming a center of culture and commerce. The Umayyads were not just conquerors, they were also missionaries, seeking to spread their faith and establish their dominance far and wide, leaving a lasting legacy. Europe, divided and weakened by internal strife and constant warfare, seemed ripe for the taking, presenting an opportunity for the Umayyads to expand further. The Visigothic kingdom in Spain had already fallen to the relentless and unstoppable advance of the Umayyad forces, marking a significant milestone in their conquests. Now, with Spain under their control, Abdul Rahman Al-Ghafiqi looked northward, his eyes set on the wealthy and fertile lands of Gaul, ready to continue the Umayyad expansion. While the Umayyad Caliphate was reaching the zenith of its power in the east, a new force was emerging in the west. From the remnants of the Roman Empire, the Franks were steadily consolidating their hold on Gaul. At their helm stood Charles Martel, the Hammer, a name that would soon be etched in history. Charles, a shrewd strategist and skilled warrior, united the fractious Frankish tribes under his banner. The Franks, under Charles's command, had pushed back against Saxon incursions and subdued rebellious vassals. Recognizing the growing threat from the south, Charles prepared his kingdom for the inevitable confrontation with the Umayyads. He understood that the fate of his people rested on his shoulders. The impending clash was a fight for the soul of Western Europe. The Pyrenees Mountains had long shielded the Frankish heartland from the turmoil of the south. But for the Umayyads, fresh from their conquest of Spain, these mountains were merely a temporary obstacle. Led by Abdul Rahman Al-Ghafiqi, their armies surged through the mountain passes, their eyes set on the rich cities and fertile lands of Aquitaine. The Duke of Aquitaine, Odo the Great, unprepared for the ferocity of the Umayyad advance, found himself outmaneuvered and defeated. His once prosperous cities were plundered, his armies scattered. Word of the Umayyad advance reached Charles Martel, sending shockwaves through the Frankish court. He knew that he had to act swiftly and decisively to stop this tide of conquest. The fate of his kingdom hung precariously in the balance. Across the Frankish kingdom, alarm bells tolled. The news of the Umayyad Advance and their victory over Duke Odo spread like wildfire. A sense of foreboding gripped the land as people prepared for the worst. Charles Martel issued a call to arms, summoning his loyal vassals and their levies. Frankish warriors, hardened by years of warfare, answered their king's summons. He understood that the coming confrontation would be unlike any other. He needed a decisive victory to break the back of the Umayyad Advance. The fate of Christendom hung in the balance. The year 732 AD. The place, a plain near the town of Tours, in modern-day France. Here, destiny awaited. The fate of Europe hung precariously in the balance. Two worlds, two faiths, two empires would collide in a maelstrom of steel and fury. To the south, the Umayyad army under Abdul Rahman Al-Ghafiqi had set up camp. To the north, Charles Martel had gathered his forces, a formidable army of Frankish warriors. They were the bulwark of Christendom, the last line of defense against the encroaching tide of Islamic conquest. The air crackled with anticipation as both armies prepared for the inevitable confrontation. Charles Martel, a master strategist, had chosen the battlefield carefully. The open terrain would negate the Umayyad advantage in cavalry. His army, though smaller in number, was no rabble of peasant levies. They were seasoned warriors, hardened by years of constant warfare. At the heart of the Frankish army stood the infantry, arranged in the formidable shield wall formation. Supporting the infantry were contingents of Frankish cavalry, heavily armoured and armed with lances and swords. Archers, positioned strategically behind the shield wall, rained down a deadly hail of arrows upon the enemy ranks. Across the battlefield, the Umayyad army presented an equally formidable spectacle. Their ranks swelled with warriors drawn from across the vast expanse of the Islamic Empire. At the forefront rode the Berber cavalry, feared for their speed, agility, and deadly skill. The core of the Umayyad army consisted of Arab infantry, disciplined and well-equipped. They were veterans of countless campaigns, their faith in Allah unwavering. The Umayyad army was a force honed to perfection by years of conquest. They were confident of victory, their morale high. The Battle of Tours did not erupt in a sudden storm of steel. It began as a tense standoff. For 7 long days, the two armies faced each other across the plains. The Franks, outnumbered but resolute, stood firm in their shield wall. The Umayyads, accustomed to swift victories, probed the Frankish lines, seeking a weakness. But Charles Martel had drilled his troops well. Their discipline held, their resolve unwavering. Each day, skirmishes erupted along the front lines. The air grew thick with the stench of sweat, fear, and the metallic tang of blood. Both sides knew that the fate of nations hung in the balance. Then, on the 7th day, a change in the wind. The Umayyads launched a full-scale assault, wave after wave of Berber cavalry crashing upon the Frankish shield wall. The Franks met the charge with their customary ferocity. Their shields held firm, the impact echoing like thunder across the battlefield. The air filled with the clang of steel upon steel, the cries of the wounded. Yet the Umayyads were relentless, their attacks driven by zeal. The Frankish lines began to buckle under the weight of the assault. But Charles Martel had anticipated this moment. He unleashed his cavalry in a devastating counterattack, shifting the momentum of the battle. The Frankish cavalry smashed into the flank of the overextended Umayyad forces. The tide of battle began to turn. Word spread through the Umayyad ranks. Their leader, Abdul Rahman Al-Ghafiqi, had fallen. The news of his demise spread like wildfire, sapping the morale of the invaders. With their leader gone, panic began to grip the Umayyad ranks. What began as a controlled retreat soon descended into a chaotic rout. The Franks, invigorated by their victory, pressed their advantage. The river Clain became choked with bodies, a testament to the ferocity of the fighting. The sun set on a scene of utter devastation. The plains were now a churned-up morass of mud, blood, and bodies. The Umayyad army, so recently confident of victory, was no more. The victory at Tours was a turning point in history. It secured the Frankish heartland from further invasion and cemented Charles Martel's legacy. The Battle of Tours marked the beginning of the end for Umayyad dominance in Europe. Although they remained a potent force in the Iberian Peninsula, their dreams of conquering the heart of the continent lay shattered. The legacy of Tours would resonate throughout the ages, paving the way for the Carolingian Renaissance and the Holy Roman Empire. Echoes of the hammer. The plains of Tours fell silent, the cries of battle fading into the whispers of the wind. The once tumultuous field, now eerily quiet, stood as a solemn reminder of the fierce conflict that had raged there. The earth, soaked in the blood of thousands, bore silent witness to the clash of civilizations that had unfolded upon its breast. Each blade of grass, each stone, seemed to carry the weight of the past, echoing the stories of those who had fought and fallen. The Battle of Tours, a maelstrom of steel and faith, had reached its bloody conclusion. Warriors on both sides had fought with a fervor fueled by their beliefs, their swords clashing in a symphony of war that would be remembered for centuries. Though fought over a millennium ago, the echoes of that fateful day still resonate through the corridors of history. The bravery and determination displayed on that battlefield have become legendary, inspiring countless generations. Charles Martel, the Hammer, had earned his moniker. His leadership and tactical genius had turned the tide of battle, his name forever etched in the annals of history as a symbol of strength and resilience. He had blunted the advance of the Umayyad Caliphate, shattering their aura of invincibility and securing the fragile realm of the Franks. His victory was not just a military success, but a beacon of hope for a beleaguered Europe. The victory at Tours was not just a military triumph. It was a turning point in the history of Western Europe, a testament to the enduring power of courage and resolve in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. It marked the beginning of a new era, where the balance of power would shift and new alliances would be forged. The Battle of Tours, however, was not a singular event that sealed the fate of a continent. It was a pivotal moment, but the story of Europe is one of many such moments, each contributing to the grand tapestry of history. The ebb and flow of history is a complex tapestry woven from countless threads of cause and effect. Each event, each decision ripples through time, influencing the course of nations and the lives of individuals. The Umayyad Caliphate, though weakened by their defeat at Tours, would continue to exert a powerful influence in the Iberian Peninsula for centuries to come, their cultural and intellectual legacy leaving an indelible mark on the region. Their contributions to art, science, and philosophy would shape the cultural landscape of Europe. The Franks, under the leadership of Charles Martel and his successors, would continue their rise to prominence, laying the foundations for the Carolingian Empire and the eventual emergence of France as a major power in Europe. Their influence would extend far beyond the battlefield, shaping the political and cultural future of the continent. The Battle of Tours had secured their place at the forefront of European history. It was a defining moment that underscored the resilience and determination of a people, a moment that would be remembered and revered for generations to come. A legacy forged in blood, the Battle of Tours continues to spark debate and discussion among historians, its significance and interpretation subject to evolving perspectives and scholarly scrutiny. This battle, fought in 732 AD, has been a focal point for historical analysis, with each generation of scholars bringing new insights and theories to the table. Some argue that its importance has been overstated, that the Umayyad advance into Europe had already reached its natural limits, that their defeat was inevitable even without Charles Martel's intervention. They suggest that logistical challenges and internal strife within the Umayyad forces would have led to their retreat, regardless of the Frankish resistance. Others, however, maintain that the Battle of Tours was indeed a pivotal moment in history, a clash of civilizations that had a profound and lasting impact on the course of Western civilization. They believe that Martel's victory was crucial in halting the northward expansion of the Umayyad Caliphate, preserving the Christian kingdoms of Europe. They point to the cultural and religious gulf that separated the Frankish kingdoms from the Umayyad Caliphate, arguing that a victory for the Umayyads at Tours would have had far-reaching consequences for the development of Europe. The blending of Islamic and Christian cultures could have led to a vastly different European identity, altering the continent's religious, cultural, and political landscape. Regardless of one's perspective on its historical significance, the Battle of Tours remains a captivating episode in human history, a testament to the enduring power of courage, leadership, and the clash of ideologies that have shaped the destiny of nations. The bravery of the soldiers, the strategic acumen of the leaders, and the ideological fervor of the time all contributed to the battle's legendary status. The echoes of that fateful day continue to resonate through the centuries, a reminder of the enduring legacy of the past and the countless ways in which it continues to shape the world we live in today. The Battle of Tours is not just a historical event, it is a symbol of the enduring struggle between differing worldviews and the impact of such conflicts on the course of human history.